Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is Monday, August 3rd. It doesn't seem like every month is going by quicker than the last. It sure does for me. Anyways, today we're going to talk about the unemployment insurance that expired just last Friday. Okay, this was the federal pandemic unemployment compensation put in place by the CARES Act. It gave an extra $600 a week of federal unemployment compensation on top of the state unemployment. Okay, that expired last week, and now there's been discussions on how to extend it or how to reintegrate something to give more assistance to unemployed folks. And today we're going to talk about what that may look like in the near future. So last week, the Senate Republicans introduced the HEALS Act, which is basically a conglomerate of different acts, different bills. And part of that proposal was a $200 per week federal unemployment extension through October. And then in October, that number will change to 70% of your previous wage, up to a cap of $500. Okay? You following me so far? So that was the proposal that was introduced by Senate Republicans. And basically, the Democrats are not satisfied with that amount. They're very adamant about the $600 per week amount of unemployment. They're saying that many Americans who are unemployed need that amount because they have the data that shows that it's literally keeping them out of poverty. So any amount less than that would be completely unacceptable, according to Nancy Pelosi. Now, since the HEALS Act has been proposed, the Democrats and the Republicans have been debating over it and trying to come to a resolution. And while some things they do agree on, there are still a huge disparity on some issues, unemployment being one of them. The other one is being state funding. Democrats are wanting a $1 trillion appropriations for individual state and local governments to help them support their local programs. And the Republicans are totally against that. So that's one thing they're stuck on. The other thing is obviously unemployment. Ever since the bill was introduced, they have been debating and meeting to try to come to a resolution. There'll be another meeting today on Monday to try to move forward on this bill before the Senate goes on recess at the end of the week. So hopefully there's more movement there. As the discussions have taken place, the Republicans have started to realize how important that extra unemployment money is. And while they introduced the extra $200 per week for unemployment, and while that's nothing, they're starting to see how important it is for more money to get to Americans. So over the weekend, Senator Mitt Romney introduced another bill called the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation Extension Act. And this bill will give states two options here. They're going to give states the option to issue a $500 per week unemployment compensation on top of the state's unemployment. And that $500 is for August, and then it gets reduced to $400 in September, and then reduced to $300 in October. Okay, this is just a 3-month extension. The other option that states can pick is just to do an 80% wage replacement through October. And in order to do that, Mitt Romney has also proposed $2 billion of funding to help the state's systems get up to speed with that kind of calculation. The Republicans also proposed a 1-week extension to the $600 unemployment benefit, but that 1-week extension is not satisfactory to the Democrats, as they want to see a more long-term solution for unemployment and for relief aid. So they basically thought 1 week is nothing. They got to figure something out for the long term. Between what Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are proposing, a $600 per week unemployment extension through the end of the year, and the proposal by Senator Romney, Collins, and McSally for the $500 per week extension that will gradually reduce through October, or the 80% wage replacement, and also between the $200 per week unemployment extension proposed by the Republicans in the HEALS Act, there will likely be some kind of unemployment benefit extension or reimplementation that is in addition to the state compensation. Okay, so it's very likely. Now the amounts, we're not sure, but it looks like the Republicans are starting to be more lenient on higher amounts than the original $200 that they proposed. All in all, I just hope that the Democrats and the Republicans come to an agreement on the entire stimulus package soon. Having the unemployment compensation lapse last Friday, that's going to send a lot of people in a really hard spot. Even if they get a bill passed this week, it's still going to take a few weeks for individual unemployment offices to implement that bill. So they got to get something done ASAP. So I hope they can settle out their differences on the state funding, on unemployment. And I'm guessing unemployment would be higher than the $200 per week. And it might even be lower than the $600 per week. But anything in between there is still helpful for people. And so I hope they agree on that. And I hope they agree on the amount of time that the extension will last. It's looking like it could be through the end of the year, because as cases are still rising and the pandemic is still very much a problem in many states, unemployment will still be at a high rate till the end of the year or until the middle of next year. So hopefully there's a long-term solution that will be passed. And on top of that, there's still the Paycheck Protection Program. Republicans and Democrats are in agreement for that. And also both sides are still in agreement for the $1,200 stimulus check. And even though there has been talks about a higher stimulus check, a higher amounts, that just might be talks. That might be just speculation, but it sounds like the $1,200 per individual is the most likely amount right now. Okay, so to recap, FPUC, this extra $600 per week, ended last Friday. The Republicans proposed a $200 per week unemployment extension. Senator Mitt Romney, Collins, and McSally proposed a $500 per week extension that will gradually reduce over time. And the Democrats feel like $600 per week is what they are shooting for in terms of coming to an agreement. So that's the summary of what I talked about today. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And also if you're new here, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with everything going on in the pandemic. And also, I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts on what's going on with Congress. I'd love to know what you think about this video, and love to know what you need help with, and maybe we can answer some questions for you. All right, so that's all I got for today. Take care for now and stay safe.